Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Indeed, good morning to you as well, and welcome to today. Today is Wednesday, the 26th of November, 2025. I'm Pearson Bowen, as always. Wonderful having you company. Thank you for making the right choice to start your day with us right here at Morning Barbados. Also, to those of you watching on our streams on Facebook, YouTube, and our website, cbc.bb, you also have made a fantastic choice. Thank you for joining in and logging in and sharing the show. That's all I ask of you. Share the show, build the community, bring others along to share in what we do as well. Thank you. Talk among yourselves. Talk to us as well. We love to see your comments. We actually do love to see it. And again, I remind you, if you know of something or someone whose story we need to tell, then tell us about it. Send us an email. That email address is on your screen. It is morninbarbados@cbc.bb. morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And to all of you who do so, we say thank you. For those of you contemplating whether to do so, we said, what are you waiting for? Do so. Send us an email. We will respond, and we'll be happy to see what it is, your ideas, your thoughts, and your comments as well. We do encourage them too. It being the 26th of November, 2025, it's the day before general elections in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It happens tomorrow. And so to all Vincentians, we are hoping that it is a very smooth electoral process, and we can't wait to hear a little bit more about the outcome. As you do know, Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves is going for his 6th term. Will he be able to do it for another term? It will then be 30 years as the Prime Minister consecutively. Or can Godwin Friday, Dr. Godwin Friday, who is the leader of the opposition, overturn that? Stop him in his tracks. Of course, we will continue to monitor it and bring you results as we know them as well. Also, that means today being the 26th, we are 4 days away from Independence Day. Yes, indeed, Sunday is Independence Day, and so that's when we all, as Barbadians, stand proudly, stiff backbones, and say we are proud to be a Barbadian indeed. And so we're looking forward to marking that significant milestone. 59 years of independence, 4 years as a parliamentary republic, and so there's a lot to be thankful for. I hope you had an opportunity to get out to the Thanksgiving service last Sunday, and if you did, you also took time to discuss the subject of transformation, which is part of the whole journey towards a republic indeed. And how can we as individuals, how can we collectively as a society help to make that a reality as well? And what are the best things we want to identify ourselves with? Those are thoughts I want you to give mind to. And so we're looking forward to that and a whole lot more this weekend. There's a lot happening, so don't get giddy. Keep following us. We'll tell you exactly what's going on indeed. But today we want to take a look at Tempted to Touch. It's a book. And the ladies are here because I want to ask the question, tempted to touch what? Tempted to touch what? And is it really copied off Rupee's song? I don't know. Those are questions we have to ask of them. And what are those short stories about, and what can we learn from those short stories? They'll tell us in just a little while. Also today, succession planning. Is it simply a buzz phrase, or is it something that businesses need to take quite seriously? When we talk HR with Hermab this morning, we want to know what succession planning is so we fully understand what it is and what it's set about to achieve, and why is it so important that businesses give great thought to succession planning. Also today is day 2 of the 16 days of activism against gender violence. And so today the advocates against domestic abuse will join us. We want to hear what their plans are to mark these 16 days of activism, and what does it mean to be able to attend to it in the digital space. What are they doing? We want to hear from them as well today. And women in football. There is the women team coming up against the Trinidad and Tobago team in Barbados. It's a CONCACAF qualifier. It's happening on Monday. They will join us. The coach, the manager, and also the captain of the team, Barbados, will join us to look ahead as to what we can expect. I just want to look at women in football generally. But let's get started this morning by touching the book Tempted to Touch. And so the women behind this book are with me. There's Suzanne Durant, She's co-author with Diane Weatherhead. These are Barbadian women. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Pearson.
Thank you for bringing national color here.
Of course.
It is really good to see it indeed. This book is called Tempted to Touch.
Yes.
I started to read. I have it even dog-eared right here, as you can see labeled, because it's a story I want to share with everybody today. Starting with you, Suzanne, what's this book about?
Well, we created the stories in this book centered around Bajan saints. And actually, recently I've been hearing a lot of, on social media especially, and even on the show here with you, asking people to guess the meanings of some of these sayings. But Diana and I conceptualized this idea since last year, I think. Even,
that long?
Well, before we were thinking about some Bajan sayings for a book. Because the first one that we did a couple years back, we thought about it for that, but then we changed gears and we said we're going to do it for this one. So this book is just centered around Bajan saints.
I mean, you've been writing forever since.
For me, yes. For years.
We're a dot.
For years.
And so for years you've been doing this. You've done multiple publications as well. But this is the second time both of you are working together.
Yes.
And the interesting thing is you've been encouraging Diane to write.
Yes, this is my buddy. We went to school together.
Really?
Foundation and Combermere. We went to both institutions, and then she went away.
And left you.
And left me.
Yeah.
But she's very talented. And when I started my writing, I said, Diane, come on board. Let's do something together. She agreed, and then we jumped in, and we did it.
So the schoolmate jumped in with you. But Diane, yours is also a story journey because you got into journalism and very seriously. So you were writing serious stories.
Yes.
But this book, while it's a serious effort of yours, it's not quite as serious as the stories you've written.
No, it's not. We definitely wanted to bring out the humor surrounding these Bajan sayings. And it was actually kind of challenging at points to find the story to wrap around the saying. And we definitely wanted that humor in there, although a couple of the stories do have some undertones of seriousness, the topics themselves. Some of the social issues that are prevalent right now, like youth violence and sexual harassment, believe it or not, it's couched in humor. But if you take a minute, you'll see this can be pretty serious. But
So much so, you've taken time at the end of every chapter to leave a Bajan saying, to drop, as we say, a Bajan saying. But a lot of times, when I stopped to reflect for a little while, a lot of those Bajan sayings had a lot of truth in it.
yes.
And character building messages as well. And so I started to read the book Tempted to Touch. Tempted to Touch. And in it, I noticed that there were some stories compiled by different people.
Yes, it was myself and Diane for sure, but we also have a good friend of ours, Betty.
Right.
She also contributed 2 stories to this collection.
So you wrote, Suzanne, in the first chapter here, Dottie was looking forward to her little brother's visit. Lionel, who now resides in Canada and had not been to Barbados in 6 years with his fiancée, were in Barbados for a 10-day visit. And we know when we bring them together with family what could happen, right? I'm not going to tell you the rest of the story, but somehow someone was not watching. And somehow someone got tempted to touch.
Yes.
And so it kicks off the book right away by placing us very vividly into a Barbadian household with a Barbadian experience and understanding how the human Barbadian works in that when the backs are turned.
Yes. And every story is like that. We always couch it right there. We seat it right there in the Barbadian experience, in the home, the foods, everything.
How much of this is your lived experience?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Lot.
I have to confess, a couple of stories in there are kind of based on experiences. I wouldn't say which ones, but a couple of stories in there.
What about you, Diane? How much of this was based on your lived experience? I mean, you spent 35 years abroad. Your experience would have been colored a little differently.
One of the stories, it's based on a Barbadian working in New York City as an elevator operator and his interactions with those folks over there and the sharing of Barbadian sayings with these folks who don't necessarily understand everything, but he definitely shares these sayings. And I did know an elevator operator in Barbados, in New York, who did exactly that, you know.
And as you know, as Bajans, wherever we meet someone, we have a conversation, we share our culture, we share everything.
Correct.
But Diane, there's one I read here, and it talks about the wheels of deception. It is written like a movie. You can see it. The language is our language. And I just started to laugh because it sounds like me. It really sounds like me. And it starts with, cheese on bread. Javon grumbled in frustration and stooped for the umpteenth time as he turned the key in his car's ignition, hoping that the stalled engine would sputter to life. He hadn't heard the aged motor roar since he bought the clunker 3 years previously. Nowadays, it was more of a cough and wheeze before the engine started. Who hasn't met that experience indeed at all? The vehicle looked like a discarded costume the day after Kadooment. You see the language, it is wonderful. With a dented, bright blue rear quarter panel, a red painted chipped hood, and rusted yellow front passenger side window. This was the 5th time in as many weeks that this old Sonny had left him stranded on his way to work. And this is a Barbadian experience, but watch the conversation here now. Because he picked up the phone and he called for help. So he called Vaughn. What going on, Vaughn? Calvin answered cheerfully. Man, this rattle trap got me stranded up on the side of Spring Garden Highway. You could come and pick me up and drop me to work. That sounds like what we would actually say to a friend.
Yeah.
And it goes on and on and on and on like that throughout the book.
Yes.
But it always, as I said, ends with a Bajan proverb that has a story to tell. And so, in terms of finding the proverb, and did it start with the proverb and then you built the story, or did you do the story and then the proverb?
Well, let me tell you what happened. I pulled up a whole lot of proverbs. I had like 3 pages. I said, okay, Diane, let's look and see what we're going to choose. She had some in mind, so she had a couple. But we had to go through. And like she said earlier, we couldn't quite find a story to fit. So you were switching, occasionally you were switching. But finally we landed on these that you'll find in the book, and we were happy with them. They worked.
And so Dan, these are the best. Did you write for every proverb and then chose the best to comprise the book? Or was it a case of, okay, these are the ones, I think we can develop a story around it, and that's what we'll publish?
Yes, that's what I did anyway.
Yeah.
I found the proverb. And I do want to mention that some of them I was unfamiliar with. I'd never heard them before. I went to on not social media, but on Google, trying to find certain things.
Yeah.
And then I landed on a book that was written decades ago by Addington Ford.
Yes.
The National Cultural Foundation had apparently placed it online. And in going through his book, there were several sayings I had never heard. You know,
Which one?
eat soldier food, take soldier blows. I'd never heard that before.
What does it mean now?
You know, if you're sharing the benefits, you got to take the licks too when they come.
Okay, got you now.
You know, so it was very informative reading all of these proverbs, and also what he did, because he has them categorized by animals, relationships, food, and he also mentions similar proverbs from the other islands. So it was very informative. So I learned a lot myself in doing the research for the
And
book.
then you allowed your imagination to fly. And you crafted characters and stories that for generations will be told once we read this book, Tempted to Touch. And I'm touching it because it's a really good read indeed, and other short stories. The title is a little long, but that's how it goes. And so here we are now. It's the second time that you've collaborated.
Yes.
Is it fun working with her, Diane?
Absolutely. It is an absolute
Are you
pleasure.
saying because she's your friend, or is this absolutely so?
I had to pair.
No, we work really well together. We feed off of each other. We will give suggestions and critiques, because sometimes I have to rein her in the things that she will put on the page. I'm like, just remember the audience, you know. So, and there's no pressure. It's just easy. It's very easy.
Yeah. Sometimes we will have the same idea at the same time, you know. So we just work well together.
The process of moving to publication now, having got all the stories together, who decided in what order these stories will be presented for publication?
Well, I did the first book in terms of formatting. So I put the stories in order. We kind of try to categorize them based on what they were dealing with. And Diane did the second one, Tempted to Touch. We did the same process for that as well. So she formatted the second one, I formatted the first one, and then we just went ahead through Amazon and we did it there.
Yeah, but look at the front cover. This is interesting. Who worked with you on this?
Eden Weeks did both of our covers. She is a fantastic graphic artist. Fantastic.
Brilliant work. I mean, it comes to life. We saw Granny reaching into the oven. Who doesn't want to have a baked goods indeed? And so this is what we do. But my man is standing at the window.
A pork chop.
Already stolen a little piece of something and just salivated because he couldn't wait to see what else he could pull from the oven. And that's the Barbadian culture that we've somehow drifted away from. I mean, the pot is bubbling over. We can see all of that in the imagery that has been put together by Eden Weeks. But the book is really attempted to touch, and it really is a fantastic read by two brilliant Barbadian young women who've come together just to give us a taste of who we are, to see ourselves through their eyes and to see ourselves in the stories and the proverbs we've all grown up hearing. And now we have a greater understanding because we can see how it comes to life. And oftentimes, as you know, when we were talking here on Morning Barbados all month long, I would always ask you to explain to me what the proverb means. Well, I don't have to do it anymore because this book allows me to be able to give you some background to the whole thing as well. And so we want this morning, right there, Suzanne, to give to one of our viewers.
Right, a signed copy.
Yes.
Right,
All
a
right.
signed
So
copy.
how do we do this?
Okay, what I would like the viewer to do, the caller to do, is we'll give them two of the proverbs and they have to tell us what they mean. What's
Okay.
the meaning?
All right, so the numbers to call are 228-5562 or 228-5563. Suzanne will give two proverbs, and you have to answer with the meaning to each proverb. Suzanne will confirm to you whether it's right or wrong, and it's yours. It's a signed copy just for you of this just released Tempted to Touch Another Short Stories publication by two brilliant Barbadians. So are you ready, folks? Let's go.
Okay, so the first one is God don't come, but he does send.
Okay,
The second one is you can't put mongoose to watch chicken.
easy. God don't come, but he'll send. And you can't put mongoose to watch chickens. What do those mean? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Call us right now and we can get you the Tempted to Touch and Other Short Stories book in your hands. I think this will make a brilliant Christmas gift.
Yes.
A gift to self and a gift to someone else as well. So that's what we want to give to you today on Morning Barbados in this month of Independence. 228-5562 or 228-5563. God don't send.
God
God
don't
will
come.
give. God, say it.
God don't come, but he does send.
Right.
And you can't put mongoose to watch chicken.
Those are the two. What do those mean? Have you lived long enough to have heard those before? Have you lived long enough to have that conversation with our generations past to understand what they mean? We have a call. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Hi. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Are you?
I'm well. Thank you for asking. Are you awake or are you now waking up?
I am awake.
Okay. Were you listening to the conversation we were having?
Yes, please.
And are you a true Bajan who could define for or design for all of us all of these phrases? Can you tell us what they mean?
I could try.
Okay, we'll take your effort. All right, the first one is,
God don't come, but he does send.
what does that mean?
Okay, you might be in a particular situation, don't know how to get out of it, but all of a sudden someone will come and able to help you.
You good with that?
She's correct. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Stan, you good with that too?
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah, we're good
Hold
with
on, we have one more for you.
One more.
What's the other one?
that. You can't put mongoose to watch chicken.
Easy.
Mongoose to watch chicken.
Stumbling.
Mongoose to eat chicken.
You can't put mongoose to watch chicken. Tell me what that means, quickly.
Mongoose. But the mongoose will eat the chicken.
Because the what?
The mongoose will eat the chicken.
I don't know. You think it means that? You have you ever heard that before, first of all?
No.
You have never heard.
Okay.
Sorry, let me ask you a question. What generation are you? Give us you're what? In your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, what?
60s.
In your 60s, and you've never heard that before? You can't put mongoose to watch chickens?
You can't recall.
Well, fair enough. That's a good answer. You can't recall. You may have heard it before, but you just can't recall. So tell me, seriously, try. What do you think that means? You can't put mongoose to watch chickens. What are we saying when we say that?
Can't put mongoose to watch. You might have something, but the person you put to watch it might not be honest enough, and they would carry away what you have.
They might not be what?
Honest
Honest enough
and carry away what you have.
and may carry away what you have.
Yeah.
That's what your thinking is? Because you've watched mongooses? Answer me.
Have I watched what?
She close.
They said to me
She's
that they'll take your
close.
answer. What's your first name?
Carrie.
I thought it was you, Carrie. Carrie, you stay on the line. We'll take some more details from you. And you have yourself now, just in time, this book, Tempted to Touch and Other Short Stories, written by Suzanne Durant and Diane Weatherhead. It's yours. Congratulations to you indeed, Carrie. Stay on the phone. Andre will take some more details from you. And it's that simple. But the book is so simply and so graphically written that you see the story come alive, all the stories come alive off the pages, and you find yourself immersed in the storytelling. And at the end of it, they leave you with the proverb that explains that story. And so you now root yourself in the truth of that proverb. You understand what that means. But you know what we've done as a society? We've gone so far away from that tradition of storytelling, and this book brings us right back there. Because there are young people who hear these things and, like you in your 60s, Gary, don't have a clue what they mean. We must share. We must continue to talk and tell. And so this book brings us right back to that oral tradition, but it starts with reading. This also is written in such a way that it makes, for those of you who shy away from reading, it makes it such fun. So you'll find yourself consumed deeply in the pages of the book that you will read it in one go. I almost finished it already, as a matter of fact. And that's because of the way it's written. It is so real and so rich, so meaningful, so impactful indeed. It's called Tempted to Touch and Other Short Stories by Suzanne Durant and Diane Weatherhead. Ladies, well done.
Thank you
very much.
Well done.
And if anyone's interested, we will be at Sky Mall on Saturday.
This coming Saturday.
This coming Saturday.
Look for you in the aisles.
Yes.
All right. Look for them in the aisles. They'll sell it to you as well, but they'll sign it for you as well. So congratulations again. I'm looking forward to the next publication,
The
whether
third one.
singly or together,
Yes.
because I think you ladies are onto a good thing here.
Thank
You're
you so
really
much.
onto a good thing here.
Thanks.
Thank you too.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. We'll take a break here on Morning Barbados, folks. We're coming back in a moment.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about Solar Ray Microbiome Probiotics and why you should be taking them.
And we have well over 3,000 amazing products to help you get healthy.
For your health tips, tune in to CBC TV 8 every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for Nature's Discount, sponsored by Get Healthy Incorporated.
98.1 The One, your number one party station. With an audience from 18 to 40, we keep you engaged, energized, and entertained. Choose 98.1 FM, The One.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados. We all face struggles at times in our lives. You're not alone. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's okay to reach out for support. Lifeline Barbados is completely confidential. No one else will know you called. They're there to offer a caring ear and guidance without judgment. And fellas, I want you to know asking for help is a true sign of strength. It takes real courage to reach out. You can also call Lifeline Barbados if you're worried about loved ones who are struggling and you need advice on how to support them. There's a saying, a problem shared is a problem halved, but not everyone has someone they can confide in. That's why Lifeline Barbados exists, to be there for you or someone you care about during tough times. Save this number. Lifeline Barbados is just a call away. Remember, you can reach out whenever you need to talk.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@ mornin.cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the viewer with extraordinary images and stories and takes him into fascinating worlds which he experiences here exclusively and up close. We're there with
Morning, good morning, good morning to you.
We're 26 minutes after 6 o'clock right here on Morning Barbados on a day when we talk HR with Hermab. And I will emphasize, as I always do on a Wednesday morning, why it is important to you become a member of Hermab, because membership brings benefits. And so all you need to do is to go to hrmab.org.bb and sign up. You do not simply have to be an HR practitioner. You can be an associate member of HR, of Hermab. And so those opportunities are given to you because you lean on years of experience of practitioners in the business. And so we want to encourage, I do want to encourage all of you to take seriously the practice of human resource management. Those two words mean a lot. Human resource. They are not just units of production, they are people. And so at the center of it is, how do we treat to our management of people's potential? And that's why you hear a lot of times we're talking about key people. Well, I can't remember the phrase now to give for HR practitioners, but it's a very sexy phrase that they use it today about identifying talent and being able to identify the right fit and all of that. But we're talking succession planning today, Pearson. Don't get off track. We're happy to be joined by the lady who heads Labour Management Division of Hermab, Nancy Solomon. Good morning to you, Nancy.
Good morning, Pearson.
Tell me a little bit about what you do.
So, as the chair of the Labour Committee, my focus really is on employment relations, advising members and guiding persons on how to navigate the space of employment relations, industrial relations specifically, which is always a contentious and difficult topic for many persons, even HR practitioners. So I sit on that chair and guide and advise other members and companies as need be in terms of how best to manage their industrial relations climate and grievances and conflicts as they may arise.
And a lot of that is rooted in what we call the Employment Rights Act.
Correct.
And so to better understand a big, hefty document, sometimes for a lot of us it takes a little while.
Yes.
But practice makes better, but consultation makes it almost perfect, because that's why you're placed where you're placed.
Yes, correct.
And so from where you sit, you see a lot of changes in business practice today.
Correct.
Are you satisfied that the people who are in that practice are doing the right thing, or are aware of what the right thing is?
I would say for the most part, yes, they are trying to do the right thing. But as businesses change and what we are doing, and sometimes even the judgments that are coming out of the Employment Rights Tribunal, they make certain changes. So as HR practitioners and business owners, you have to keep your eye on the ground, keep your ear on the ground rather, and be aware of the changes and manage them. But for the most part, I would say that most companies are on top of it. They are.
Running a company, oftentimes, and I'm saying from the top down for just a moment, coming down the process for a reason. Running the company means not just watching the bottom line and watching your investment alone. Because for your successful business to continue, you need to look at the people who are part of your business as well. From, again, the labor management side of it, are you seeing great thought given into selection from an HR practitioner's point of view of the talent that comes into an organization?
I think we select the talent for the moment. And let me explain. So we're hiring for a position. So we hire that person for that job, but we do not really give the long view. in terms of where that role, especially the particular position, could be quite critical to the organization from a technical expertise. So we don't give the long view in the selection process at recruitment. So we just recruit for the right time. Okay, I need this position filled and this person can do this job, but they may not have all of the skill set that you may need to take them throughout the organization or to that future role later down. And then what we fail to do is sometimes to build the capacity, to nurture, to fill in the gaps, because unfortunately, HR does a lot of outing of fires. So we're always plugging the gaps. And so we find ourselves in positions where, as I said, we're just hiring for the moment and not for the long-term vision.
But sometimes it's not easy to find the perfect candidate.
That is correct.
So you hire for the moment.
But if you're hiring for the moment, then you have to develop that talent. Because as you said, there's not a perfect candidate out there. So you have to identify the gaps, what that person, that individual, that the shortcomings that they're coming with, and then begin to close them. But you can't wait to close those gaps when, again, you're in another crisis, because then problems.
And that's where succession planning also comes.
Yes.
Because you can't wait until there is a crisis of resignation, of retirement, and all of those things to begin to put in place the next stage and for sustainability and for longevity of your business.
Correct.
So when we're talking about succession planning, what should we look for to determine the most suitable candidate or candidates to be a part of this program?
Well, you're looking at not just the qualifications. We always tend to look on the paper, the academic qualifications, but you're looking at the whole person, because when you talk about succession planning, you're looking at identifying your critical roles. Those couple key positions or key position that if that person wasn't there, would really cause a significant disruption to the organization. So you're not doing succession planning for every single job, the janitress, those are more day to day you can get by. But your key roles, and when you're doing that, you have to ensure that you are thinking, okay, what behavioral competencies, what type of attitudes do I need that person to exhibit, to have? What type of knowledge base and overall, because that may be a role that the person, not just, they may be an engineer, but they also need to have a little idea of accounting, because they're going to have to prepare budgets if they're managing a department. So you have to look at it very broadly. And then again, begin to expose that individual over time, not, as you said, when the retirement comes about, God forbid, or death or something like that. So you're doing that long process. You're building those skills, you're exposing them, you're doing some job exchanges, mentoring, coaching. Those are the things we need to do.
You're giving work. A
Yes.
different kind of work to the people who run the organization, whether it's
Yes.
the HR manager or otherwise, to really look deeply into the business and its operations, so you're able to identify those shortfalls that you're talking about, and to also to put plans in place. And a lot of times, the leader says, I don't have time for that.
That is correct.
If one goes, we'll find another one. If not, we'll shut it down. And so that is in itself not the kind of response you think businesses should have if they want to thrive long term.
Correct. And as I said, you talk about shutting it down. If that key role goes, it will be a shutdown possibly for some organizations, because in the Caribbean, especially in Barbados, we have a lot of small businesses that they surround one person, or sometimes just a mother, daughter, or father, son, family businesses. So when that key person goes, they pass away, that's when you find a lot of these businesses close, because the kids were not prepared or not interested necessarily in continuing the business, and that organization did not take that future look to determine, do we need to bring an outsider in? Do we need to make it not a family business? Those are the technical, very, very uncomfortable conversations that in a Caribbean context that we have to face, which is a little different from the international space, because they have larger organizations. But that's why you find a lot of small businesses that eventually after a while you'll be like, oh, but they used to exist, but the person died, the father, and it never continues because we didn't discuss succession planning.
I am so glad you went there, honestly, because I was going to ask the question, in succession planning, does it have to come from within only?
No.
And you just said that to me as well. No. In determining the succession plan for your business, you could look without and see who is out there that has the potential to be able to continue for your sustainability of your business. And I remember well, because this is my third rodeo at a job, and so where I started, that was part of the plan, where the company looked at the age factor,
Yeah.
And they looked at the skill sets as well, and they decided what is going to be my new management structure and what would my new management structure look like, who are the people and where they're coming from, all of those kinds of things. And then they laid on a layer of hirees who were specifically for that purpose, for the longevity. And I can see right now one of those people who came in on that program leading the organization now because they came in on that accelerated program. And so is that something that you would suggest that businesses really begin to look at critically and not just become so myopic in just looking at what is within?
Definitely. I know some organizations, they have similar to what you spoke about just now, Pearson, almost a graduate trainee program. So you bring these young persons, bright, have the potential, and you put them in these key areas and you groom them. You groom them over a 2-year period, sometimes a 3-year period, to take up these roles. The organization knows, so what you do is that it ensures communication. So the staff are not wondering, okay, everybody's going to retire in about 10 years. What is going to happen? They know these are the next leaders. They can see them, and you begin to identify the shortcomings and groom them. So definitely that is something that a prepared business should do. And I go back to the small business, because the small and family-owned business, a lot of times you don't want to take the business out of the family. So you avoid having that conversation. You just sidestep it. You know, you're seeing dad getting older, you're seeing mommy getting sick, but no one wants to have that uncomfortable conversation. So then they pass. Someone who has not been appropriately trained in the family, tries to take it along. But again, it doesn't. So we have to have those discussions about looking outside, because sometimes, and this is not to say that tenure and long years of service in an organization doesn't have its value, but sometimes the best person for the job is outside. The best person to really take the legacy forward is someone who has a common vision, ideas, and that someone you can work with, and that person may be outside of your organization.
Managing the process within, though. You brought in someone, and you're asking me to help them by exposing them to what I'm currently doing, all the while I'm aware that you have this plan, this magic wand that you're waving, because they're going to go ahead of me eventually. So how do we, in succession planning, manage those relationships and help calm the nerves of those who are part of the process?
That is a very good question, Pearson, because there's a lot of emotional dynamics in succession planning. And you said go ahead of you. Now, proper succession planning really should be a passing of the baton. It should be seen as a privilege. But in the Caribbean context, it is not. Persons often feel like they're being pushed aside, they're being sidestepped. But the reality is that if I bring someone 2 years ahead of your retirement to shadow you, to learn, to have you mentor them, that's a privilege. And it is having that conversation, having those early on, so that persons understand that we want you to share all that you've learned with the new generation to ensure organizational sustainability and growth. So that they should, I think it's having that constant conversation at a certain point, because we're all going to know retirement is at 65, 60 in some organizations. So you begin to have the conversations early. We're encouraging you, we like what you do, we appreciate all the years of service, but this is the new generation. So I think it's just a lot of conversations, because it is a Caribbean thing. We have a negative view for some reason of succession and somebody else coming to take my job, because there's a great degree of job ownership in the Caribbean. When someone, especially in the technical roles, those jobs where no one else, only a small handful of us can do this. Yes. I am the man. But somebody else got to be the man when you leave, otherwise we got to close. Yes. So it is ensuring that conversation happens early on, so that persons are able to manage that uncomfortableness that they may feel.
Let's look at the cost if we don't do that, if we don't manage that process carefully. What's the cost to the company?
Well, you mentioned it earlier, in some organizations it may mean closure, depending on how many and at which point in time. Now, I've known organizations where in a single year they've lost their chief operational officer as well as their CEO. Now, when you think about a small organization losing 2 critical persons like that, they were facing possible closure, because when they hired from outside, because there was no succession planning, the persons didn't stay. They didn't stay. So that is a big risk. What you also have is a loss of tacit knowledge. So that business knowledge that those persons would have acquired for 30, 40 years sometimes is gone, because you didn't take the effort to ensure that someone was behind. You didn't have possibly the SOPs being created so that they weren't documenting all of this knowledge. And the truth is you can't document everything in an SOP. So that's why I believe definitely having that mentorship early on, having the right persons in place at a particular time is important, because it's these conversations like what we're having here this morning that's sometimes where the real sharing of knowledge comes. So that could literally mean, as I said, the organization closing. You can see stalling of growth and instability, as well as employee morale could fall because the employees get worried about their future because they're not seeing who's next.
It's an uncomfortable discussion, but who begins that conversation in the business? Is it the CEO or is it the HR person?
I would say the conversation has to happen at the departmental level, probably the department manager, as well as HR, because, and it depends, and you said the CEO, now it depends on what role, because obviously if you're speaking about your chief operations officer, that's a CEO conversation as the head of that area. But if you're speaking to a technical expert, that may be the department head having the initial conversation along with HR to help guide that person to understand, even getting their feedback, because they may work with persons who they may see potential in as well. So you make them a part of the process. So you help them to help you even identify the successors. And I say successors because what sometimes we do is we choose one person. And that in itself could be a feeling, because that one person could also decide to leave the organization. They can pass away, and then you're back to square one. So ideally, you should really identify at least two persons for certain key roles. So in the event there are any disruptions, life happens, there's a backup plan. But if you make the individual a part of the process, I think it will help.
It's planning. It's planning.
It is.
And so the other cost, to my mind, I've just reflected on, is having taken the time to invest in you as part of my succession plan. You decide because another offer came along. I see your body's reacting already. Yes. And so I feel as though I've just thrown money down a well. So is that something that happens a lot? And if so, how do I manage my feeling for the succession plan because I'm upset? I feel as if I've just wasted an investment.
It's a risk, and it happens, right? Some organizations, what they do is that they do bonding. So they bond the employees maybe for a particular number of years based on the financial investment that they would have put into them, as you said, in building up this leader before someone else decides to take my investment. But that's life. That is a risk that you take. And that's why, again, I said, you don't just train one person. You make that investment because it's unlikely that both persons will leave you at the same time. So you have a backup plan again, but it happens, and there really is not a lot of, because even if you bond me, when that bonding period is over, that person can still leave. You know, so you may have that feeling, but the absence of planning, I think, is a greater risk than that possibility or the impact of that possibility.
A lot of us in the Caribbean, we look into the mirror as we age and we still see our 20-year-old self.
That is true.
Having just started the business, we see ourselves having forever still outstanding. And so it's difficult at times, to be honest. Is the discussion around succession planning, okay, we talked about this before, but you said to me, as we're nearing retirement, as we're nearing whatever, we should begin to put a plan in place. But should it happen from the beginning so that the employee is aware that the potential comes that someone else might be understudying you as well?
Yeah, that's a conversation, I believe, especially at high-level positions, that you have at recruitment. There's a conversation you start from the time I hire you.
Really?
Yeah, because again, remember, we're trying to change a mindset. It's a mindset that we're working on. So this mindset change doesn't happen overnight. Even if I have the conversation with you 3 years before you're retired, you're set in your ways. So you begin to have the conversation, and the conversation doesn't say, oh, so you're going to retire in 25 years, so I'm going to have. But your conversation basically begins to outline the organization's master plan, their roadmap, taking them along, so this is where we see the organization in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. So you begin to chart and see where they place, and then show them on this roadmap, this is where your transition, your passing of the baton may happen. So it's something as a conversation you begin to have, every year. And again, if you involve people in the process, I think it definitely will help the emotional, the settling in of it, because people feel that this is not something that they're being pushed down their throat. They are part of, and they've had their input, because these are also persons who are working with other people on the ground. So they're going to see what you may not see from an HR perspective, and that's where you need the involvement of those individuals.
From the beginning.
From the beginning.
From the absolute beginning. I mean, all of us, I think, likes to work with a progressive organization.
Yes.
And so if you want to show that you are managing a progressive organization with progressive people and progressive strategies, have it from the beginning. Why wait until later and find yourself then up against a fight? Because I feel as though I'm being pushed out. Have it from the beginning. This conversation shall continue right after this break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources. He'll give you the people. Not only will He equip you with ideas, but He will equip you with favor, as He did Nehemiah.
Turn on the latest episode of Infinite Possibilities, only on CBC TV8, every Sunday at 1:30 p.m., sponsored by Covenant Life Teaching Center.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about Solaray Microbiome Probiotics and why you should be taking them.
And we have well over 3,000 amazing products to help you get healthy.
For your health tips, tune in to CBC TV8 every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for Nature's Discount, sponsored by Get Healthy Incorporated.
98.1 The One, your number one party station. With an audience from 18 to 40, we keep you engaged, energized, and entertained. Choose 98.1 FM, The One.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely, and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados. We all face struggles at times in our lives. You're not alone. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's okay to reach out for support. Lifeline Barbados is completely confidential. No one...
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're talking HR with Hermab this morning, looking at the very important subject for any business, the subject of succession planning. And I'm having with me the chair of the labor the management area of Hermab in herself, Nancy Solomon, who is a practitioner in this as well, looking at labor issues, labor laws and the like. And so sometimes when we're lost in the dark as to what succession planning is, I hope that you get a chance to replay this conversation or reach out to Hermab to get a greater sense and understanding of what succession planning is, how it's done, for whom it's done, and how your business critically needs to have a succession plan in place. And so sometimes when that's not in place, Nancy, we find ourselves running into roadblocks. We find the businesses collapsing and all the rest of it. But there's that fear. I want to come back to that for a second, because I know I can hear HR practitioners in my head thinking, but I know the beasts I work with, and they will tell you in that, I know it's not in that language, the beasts I work with would have an issue with this.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of benefits as well, but it's how it's communicated. And we both in the commercial break were sharing our lived experience from this. And so tell them about your experience.
Well, I had the privilege a few years ago, so I'm not going to age myself, of being a part of a graduate internship program in Trinidad, where I'm from. And that program was one in which they hired 9 graduates from the university in the 9 key operational areas, from health and safety to HR to legal operations. And the 9 of us were advertised and promoted within the organizations as the new leaders. And that program, what it did was a 2-year program, and it strategically moved us through different departments. It exposed us to, so as an HR person, I was required to go in the operational department and see how the business was run, see how we did what we did, understand key components. And it built a sense of confidence in us. It built a sense of confidence, I believe, in the organization. But with all of that great things that were happening on for us, there were those persons who, when we were asked to work with them, because of course we just out of university, I didn't have much work experience back then, there was a resistance. They didn't really want to share their knowledge, they didn't want to show you what to do. I would even say in some cases I had persons who almost set you up to fail. Wow. Yeah, because there was that fear. And this circles back to the comment you just made about the fear. So that fear prevented some persons to see the vision. What the organization did do, and admirably so, was definitely to bring us in. And they didn't keep it a secret, as I said. It was promoted, we were known. And some of my former colleagues have remained in the organization and have taken up leadership roles since then. But I can speak about experiencing that resistance and where the fear was placed for some individuals that we were coming to take their jobs. But I couldn't take anyone's job having just come out of university with a bachelor's. But you've been doing the job. I don't even know how to produce some of the things you're doing outside of from a textbook standpoint. You've lived it, you've worked it. So I just want to learn from you. And there was that sad part of the experience, but I think maybe the organization did not do enough to prepare their employees that were there of the plan, you know. I don't know how long the plan was birthed before we arrived and communicated again. So it may have been a case where we were just dropped and then advertising like they're here, as opposed to we are coming and this is what we want to do, which would have possibly made it better for some persons. They would have always been the ones who, of course, had that resistance, but I think the greater wide organization would have been more open.
And I like that you've gone there, because then how long does it, before it actually happens, should we have this conversation? When do we begin the sensitization, basically? Right away once the decision is made, and then how do we structure that discussion with the rest of the staff?
Organizations should, and I'm speaking about larger organizations, should have what we would call some sort of master plan or operational plan that speaks to how they see the organization going to grow in the next 5 to 10 years. Once you have that plan cannot simply be based on your growth in terms of business sales or actual infrastructure, but that growth has to be speaking about people. So when now you add the people component to your growth plan, you have the conversation. So that if it's a 5-year business plan, obviously you're having that now because this is for the next 5 years. So you're telling them this is where we see the type of people we'll need, the roles we'll need them in. Some roles may be existing already, some may be new roles. And you have that conversation, and then you let them know, okay, so we're going to have to possibly bring in these persons and begin to train them, mentor them, coach them, get their feet wet, so that when we are ready to make that shift, we are in place and we're positioned. Because the business environment is changing so rapidly, Pearson, that we can't wait until it is upon us to begin to make these investments.
And so that's not just a memo circulated. It's not just a general staff meeting. No. It's an ongoing process. And I'm saying that to say that sometimes that's what we do in a business. I've shared the information with you. Now you know, find your way through this data, this dialogue, and you work yourselves out. But it requires, I think, the holding of hands and understanding of minds and feelings as well from HR. And HR can't carry it alone. Supervisors also have to help with this.
I am so glad you said that, Pearson, because a lot of times HR is given that weight. We have to get it. We have to do the constant, but we can't. I mean, you manage an organization, you have 1,100 employees, 500. It's impossible for you to carry that conversation, to hold each person's hand as you navigate that. So that conversation has to be happening at the supervisory level, the department head, and every now and then you're coming back. So you had that one staff meeting, you followed up with a memo, you come back again later in the year, maybe 6 months later, this is what we're doing, this is the plans we put in place, they're going to be coming in 2027, and you begin in 2026, you're having the conversation again. So when they do arrive, or this group of individuals that you've earmarked to groom, no one looks around like, who are you? Why are you here? Oh, okay, you're the people they told us about. Okay. So the reception is a little different. But when you don't bring people along, sometimes what we do, and it's a failing, we keep the plan too secret. So in us trying to, I guess, sometimes avoid that pushback, we keep it too secret.
Yes.
And then we keep it too secret for too long. So by the time we do inform persons, the reaction is not what we would have hoped, and what we really could have had a better reaction had we engaged them earlier on.
To my mind, it also requires a communication plan. If that is not clearly articulated, and it's like a project plan, folks, so you step by step onto the conclusion that you're seeking to have.
Agreed.
But that communication plan then guides how you manage the process of sharing. And I'm not sure if HR practitioners are trained in that way to develop communication plans in the process, are they?
Generally, no, but in larger organizations, there would be possibly a communications department, so that HR should work alongside them to develop a clear communication plan as to how internal communications, just like you would disseminate external communication, will happen. The process, how often, the frequency, because it depends on the message. Some messages like this one will need to happen more frequently, and then there may be one-off message. So I think it's a situation where HR work in collaboration with that department.
It's important. And HR, if you don't have it, ask for it.
Correct.
Ask for it, because it's too much sometimes for just the HR department to manage and to carry. And that's why it's collaborative, one, but it also takes planning. And in that planning, raise your concern. I think sometimes we walk into meeting rooms and we say nothing. We say, okay, boss, not a problem, boss. We'll get it done. Then we walk back and we grumble. And we find ourselves in the pool of other people who are grumbling. And the succession plan itself now becomes a burden also for that HR practitioner. So that conversation really is deeper than just the people who are coming in or people who are setting up to be trained as part of the succession plan. It involves much. And to be able to understand what it is, reach out to Nancy.
It involves everyone.
It involves, yeah.
It involves everyone. So it's not an HR thing, and I want to really stress that.
Yep.
It is not just an HR thing. Succession planning will fail if it is left just to HR. You have to have everyone involved in this process.
A part of learning is repetition, reinforcement, all of that. So let's recap what we've talked about today. The importance of succession planning. Why should businesses take it seriously?
To ensure continuous growth, sustainability, and viability. To ensure employee morale remains at a high level, and just to ensure business continuity at the end of the day. That is it.
How does the small Caribbean business, family business even, see the importance of succession planning? What should they do?
They should begin to think outside of the family. They should begin to consider the voices, the opinions of sometimes the potential family member they may be grooming, because that person may not want that job. So therefore, they may need to think that this business possibly may be going outside of the family, and that's okay if you want the business to survive. But if you've decided, well, this business is going to pass away with dad or mom, then that would be a decision that you would make. But if you want the growth of the business and for it to pass on to generation, then you may have to look outside.
It takes planning, it takes conversation, it takes planning, it takes conversation, it takes planning and more conversation, because it's fluid.
Yes.
And that's the whole point of the succession planning as well. But if you don't do it, it will be done for you. Your business will close. It's as serious as that. Whether you are a business that's been around for 50, 60 years or one that's just started indeed. It is that critical to every business. And if you need to know more, just reach out to HRMAB, hrmab.org.bb. Lots of words and letters in there, I know, but hrmab.org.bb, and find out more. Find out more a little bit about what they're doing. I know you have a podcast coming up.
Yes, we actually implemented a podcast a few months ago, which I am currently the host, but that may vary. But I want to encourage persons to log on and join. It's every other Monday. The podcast will be released, and we discuss topics like this, short podcasts, but where you can get some information. So every other Monday, and you can find the recorded videos on our social media page. And you've already outlined our website, and we have our YouTube channel as well. So I definitely want to encourage HR practitioners and other business owners just to submit ideas, concerns, topics that they would like us to discuss on the podcast.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant indeed. HRMAB, thank you so very much, Nancy Solomon.
Thank you.
In labor management, she is an expert indeed, and so we're so happy to have had the opportunity to sit with her to hear more about succession planning today. Take it seriously, folks. Membership brings benefits. Morning Barbados comes back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations.
It's time for the news now. Barbados is one step closer to adopting its new constitution in nearly 60 years. Yesterday, Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley led debate on the Constitution Amendment Bill 2025, laying out the road map ahead and explaining why citizens will soon have a greater role to play. The Prime Minister described the moment as historic, a direct step towards Barbados' first new constitution since independence in 1966.
It will be an appropriate debate. It will be an appropriate set of actions in the country's celebration of the 60th year of independence, the road to 60. Because we start the beginning of the 60th year, as you know, next week, Monday, on the 1st of December, and that will run till when we actually achieve our Diamond Jubilee, the 60 years, on the 30th of November 2026 next year.
The Prime Minister explained that ministers, especially the Attorney General, must legally be able to address both houses.
Nothing can come before the Honorable House of Assembly or the Senate without the certification of the Attorney General, whether it is a resolution or a bill. And therefore, the Attorney General is going to be required to be the glue that keeps the legislative calendar and the parliamentary calendar going. Now, that may have implications for the future because it means a much higher load on the Attorney General, and we will probably see more and more an Attorney General as a dedicated Attorney General rather than carrying other wider portfolios, largely because of the need to make sure that this process is fluid and seamless.
But the most striking revelation, the Constitution will include, for the first time, a chapter on citizen responsibilities.
But the government felt that the new Constitution of Barbados, unlike the old one, which speaks to the role of government and the role of different divisions that are related to government, should speak generally to the role of governance in the country, as opposed to the role of government. And that in addressing the issue of governance, that one of the things we have to address is the role of citizen. And citizen is the highest office, all of us agree, in a democracy. But a citizen that is told only of their rights, or even a person who is not a citizen that is told only of their rights as opposed to their duties, their responsibilities, may feel that they live in a country that doesn't require them to do anything.
Well, Parliament has approved constitutional amendments that affect how the Speaker of the House is chosen and how government officials address Parliament. Under the changes outlined in the Constitutional Amendment Bill, a person outside of the House of Assembly or the Senate can now be elected Speaker of the House. Opposition leader Ralph Thorne voiced his support for the amendments, particularly in relation to the change to the current arrangement, which he said places heavy and oftentimes unfair demands on the Speaker. The opposition leader said the new provisions will help ensure the Speaker's independence.
This Parliament cannot legislate impartiality. And let us appreciate that distinction, that independence refers to the state of an institution. Impartiality relates to the state of mind. So that while you can guarantee the independence of the institution of Speaker, it falls to the integrity of the holder of the office of Speaker to determine whether he will be impartial. And that is where we are today. That is the juncture at which this Parliament stands today.
Well, the Four Seasons Hotel and Develop project at Paradise Beach, Black Rock has been sold. And CBC News understands the new owners will be submitting plans for the new development on the site in due course. Anesta Henry has more on this story.
CBL Developments SRL, part of an investment group involved in several major projects in Barbados, has acquired the property formerly known as Four Seasons at Paradise Beach, Black Rock, St. Michael. And the plans for a new development on this site will be submitted in due course. According to a press release, subject to the necessary approvals, CBL Developments fully intends to adhere to established requirements and guidelines throughout both the application and development phases, including securing all relevant permits and authorizations. The group is dedicated to collaborating closely with the Planning and Development Department as well as other stakeholders, ensuring that the proposed project aligns with local regulations and delivers value to the community and the island of Barbados as a whole. The property encompasses some 56 acres and will be securely enclosed during initial works. Public access via official beach entry points along Highway 1 will remain uninterrupted. Following the installation of hoarding, the overgrown vegetation and derelict buildings on the property will be cleared, and the 2 decommissioned oil tanks will be safely removed from the premises. This phase is slated to begin in the very near future, with completion in due course. The release also states that CBL Developments SRL respectfully requests that members of the public remain aware of ongoing activities and exercise caution throughout this period, as heavy machinery will be in operation on site. The controversial US $160 million Four Seasons project got underway in 2008 by British developers Robin Patterson and Michael Pemberton. Global investors deposited monies for the villas, which were priced at around $20 million. The government of Barbados attempted to get the project underway again by securing a US $60 million loan from the Ansem Merchant Bank. But that was a failed attempt since majority of the money was spent settling debts and paying creditors. Anesta Henry, CBC News.
New tint regulations will officially come into force on the 1st of December. The Barbados Licensing Authority reiterated that the changes are primarily about safety. The CBC team visited Oistins, where testing continues, and we also explored why government is tightening the rules.
At Oistins in Christchurch and the National Cultural Foundation car park in St. James, vehicles rolled in one after another as part of a nationwide effort to help drivers adjust before the new regulations take effect. Deputy Chief Licensing Officer Lynette Williams made this appeal ahead of the deadline date.
The new tint regulations come into effect on Monday, December the 1st, 2025. I'm asking all vehicle owners to kindly ensure that your vehicles meet compliance with the new laws. We have 2 tint testing sites in place for your convenience, and one is located in Oistins and the other at the NCF car park. Now, you can also review the tint regulations, which is the windscreen and windows app under the road traffic app, which will give you guidance on the percentages that are required.
She said while there are those who want to be exempted from the regulations, there's a process they must go through.
The law also gives provision for exemptions in some cases. For instance, medical reasons, if you have lupus, if you have a skin disorder that is like sensitive, and you can make an application to our department where we will look at it as a committee to decide. Now, please bear in mind that all medical applications should be accompanied by a medical certificate from a specialist in the particular area.
Ms. Williams also outlined the tint regulations as crafted in law.
The required percentages for the front windscreen should be no less than 70%. The front windows, which would be the driver's side along with the passenger side on the front, no less than 25%, and all back windows and the rear windscreen, no less than 20%.
There are some vehicles that she says will be exempted from the stipulated tint requirements.
Any vehicle that is being used to transport the president, they have that particular exemption, along with ambulance service, the police service, the fire service. They're listed under the Act as well, and you can have a look at them. When I say vehicles under the police service or the ambulance service, any that are listed under the law, I want to make it absolutely clear that we are referring to vehicles belonging to the organization and not to officers or workers at the institution.
And with enforcement days away, officials say awareness is increasing, but time is running out. Deanza Roberts, CBC News.
Sports now. St. Cyprian's boys and St. Gabriel's have booked semi-final spots in the COB Herman Griffith Primary School cricket competition. At Brayton yesterday, St. Cyprian's chased down 118 to beat Bailey's Primary by 6 wickets. Batting first, Bailey's posted 117 for 8 with Aidan Blades and Dejada Holder top scoring on 22 each. Liam Lowe took 2 for 13. Anne-Marie Burke was at that game and she'd taken the first innings.
Opting to bat first may not have been the best idea for Bailey's, as within the first over they will lose a wicket. The ball looked destined for the boundary, but when the throwing came in, Jelani Franklin was out the crease and he goes run out for 2. Bailey's at 5 for 1 since Cyprian's draw first blood. Seeing this, Ashari Hinkson set to task to get things on track and deliver the match's first boundary. Aidan Blaze was now there with him, and he too ensured some 4s would get the scores going, edging this one for it to run away to the ropes. These two settled in a bit at the crease, and here's Hinkson again turning this one down behind leg. Blades still with the boundary fever, nicely timed in place. Here he goes again, the shots that help to put a competitive score on the board. But after a strong 42-run partnership, Hinkson would bring the party to an end right into the hands of Zakai Reefer. Bailey's now 47 for 2. Hinkson contributed 15. That brought Jadeja Holder to the crease, and he ensured a boundary would be to his name. I have to give credit to the fielder for a valiant effort, albeit in vain. Blades meanwhile kept the momentum going, another 4 in the mix. But after racking up 22 runs of his own, Blades will be handed his walking papers. He was caught by Kai Headley for 22. St. Cyprian's in celebration mode. Bailey's at 58 for 3. And wicket 4 was that of Xavier Duplessis. The appeal goes up and he's given LBW to Reefer. Bailey's at 63 for 4. Holder tried to keep things going and added another 4. He then upped the ante and went big, the only 6 of the innings. But from here, St. Cyprian's took control. High, hard, and Holder's cotton ball by Low. Holder added 22. It's now 102 for 5. The Johnny Taylor came in, made 4, and there was ball by Reefer, 108 for 6. Wicket 7 was that of Jair Willoughby, bowled by Asher Phillips for a duck. And Bailey's will lose one more wicket when Keon Butcher hit into the hands of Jalen Brathwaite. They were going to end the innings on 117 for 8 in their 25 overs. St. Cyprian's would need 118 to win.
Anne-Marie Burke for CBC Sports. Well, St. Cyprian's, they got 119 for 4, with Christian Reed scoring 22 and Lowe and Kai Headley adding 20 each. St. Gabriel's also won by 6 wickets, defeating Milton Lynch at Briar Hall. Milton Lynch 66 all out, St. Gabriel's 67 for 4. That's a look at news. Until now, more news coming up at noon on TV8. Morning Barbados is back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The Morning Barbados News is brought to you by Jordan Supermarkets Spend and Eat 2025 competition.
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the viewer with extraordinary images and stories and takes him into fascinating worlds which he experiences here exclusively and up close. We're there when companies and specialists develop super satellites for a global network in space and can look behind the scenes. Scold is a window to everything that is there or is yet to come. Fly with us through time to better understand today and tomorrow. You've always wanted that. Scold, a look into the future.
Our world today is not the world God wants it to be. One of the reasons, which will surprise many, is that our planet, its governments, and its peoples are all living under the weight of Satan's rule. From the beginning of mankind's existence to today, human history is the written record of what it means to live under the rule of the devil. Yet that rule is coming to an end, and what a difference that will make.
Every Sunday at 9 a.m. on CBC TV 8, tune in for Tomorrow's World, sponsored by the Living Church of God.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb, and together we will travel the world.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're 18 minutes now after 7 o'clock, and we continue now as we take a look on day 2 of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence at the continuing advocacy of the group, as we know them, really advocates against domestic abuse. I'm happy to be joined once again by my good friend, Barbara Daniel Goddard. She's become my good friend now. She's the chairperson of the organization, indeed, with her vice chair in Caroline Jarvis. Both of you, good morning again.
Morning, we're back.
I'm still starting to hunt down my orange. I promise before the month, these 16 days are done, I shall be wearing my orange in support.
I'm going to hold you to that, yes.
You're going to hold me to
Oh,
it?
yes.
Are you going to abuse me? No, I'm just kidding.
A brilliant orange shirt.
Of course.
Yes.
Something that's bright and sparkling and it's obvious to everybody.
Definitely.
So here we are, 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And so it's a very serious subject. One I know that you ladies have been doing and your organization has been approaching for some time now.
Yes.
And this year they're looking at how people abuse women digitally, and I'm not using fingers or anything. I'm talking about using the digital space to do so. We're seeing more and more cases where people are brought before the law courts simply because they felt they had the right to expose people online.
Yes.
I know that concerns you as well.
Oh, it is. I mean, it's a very serious thing because at times people are involved in what they assume to be innocent activities or deeply personal activities. So the last thing you expect is that your personal life will be made public. So the impact on that can be highly emotional. It could possibly mean loss of a job. It will impact those persons who have children. And as you know, child's life can be quite challenging. So imagine a child going to school and other children discovering something about a parent. So that type of thing. And as we know, things that go onto the internet stay on the internet. And so your whole lifestyle and your whole way of seeing yourself from an emotional perspective, psychologically, is seriously damaged. So yes, it is a law that is definitely need to be used more frequently, but also victims need to be a lot more confident about coming forward, and we need to make sure that we have things in place where people will feel confident about coming forward when that sort of thing happens. But sometimes people are not even aware it has happened. It takes someone to tell you that they have seen a particular incident, etc.
And that's when the shock comes.
Indeed.
Because I thought that we had the kind of relationship where you respected myself, my space, but you abused that. And and it's not always an instance of a breakup of relationship, you know.
No.
Someone just figures, I have something I think somebody needs to see. Fellas, y'all got to see this.
Indeed.
And you share it, hoping that sometimes that person keeps it as confidential as you would want it to be.
Indeed.
But people get excited and they share these kinds of things, and that in itself is also abuse.
Well, indeed. I mean, and I think that I think each person needs to be very responsible about what they do, how they do it, when, where, etc. And as you say, it isn't normally in relationships, but it's so-called friendships or people that you really think has your meaning at heart, and you find that they're doing something that is really abhorrent. And that impact is huge, to the point where people can have mental issues from that. You know, they end up being incredibly depressed, because there's nothing worse to walk out of your house and knowing that your neighbor knows something about you that you didn't expect them to know, and having to face that. And even when people try to explain, people don't necessarily believe, oh yeah, well, you know about it, etc.
The story was just too sweet for them to not accept that me myself, I just abused someone. But Carolyn, last time we were together, you shared your own journey, your own story. It was not necessarily digital, but
it was digital.
It was digital.
Oh
as well?
yes. I actually experienced cyberbullying and cyber stalking, and it began on a website. I won't mention the name, but it was very apparent. Caused a lot of controversy at the time, and it didn't happen just once, it happened 3 times, and it did actually impact my, as Barbara had alluded to, being in the workplace. And I can sort of give you a bit of an insight there in terms of having that, being in the office working, and a colleague coming up to me and saying, there's something online here about you. Do you want to see it? And I said, no. I just didn't want to see it. I was like, but then my boss called me into her office and said, read this. And then I had the shock of my life, absolute shock of my life. And of course, at the time, I didn't even know where it came from, who it came from. But then eventually put 2 and 2 together, because I was going through post-separation stage of the relationship. And I heard through the grapevine, word got back to me that it was done with the intention of my losing my job. They actually categorically stated, I did it because I want her to come back.
Control. Cause her to lose the job, feel depressed, and in order to stop it, come back.
Yes.
And I'm glad you were honest enough to share that, because there's so many other women who feel people I'm going to use the people because gender-based violence is not just for women alone.
Absolutely.
Who feel so abused by the way people are using the digital space today. They feel they have the freedom to do what they wish to do without giving any hoops about the consequence and the damage that they're doing to people. And for a lot of times, it's the whisper.
Yes.
It is not even the confrontation. It is the whispering or the silence when you walk into a room that really permeates your spirit.
Yes, it does.
Yes, yes.
It's a bit like it's a bit like something being injected into your whole mental system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And could I just continue on a little bit? I had 2 teenage children at the time, and obviously you can imagine how that would impact children of that impressionable age having to deal with that. Part of it, and it goes hand in hand with the whole digital, is the tracking, the surveillance, where attempts were made to share information from my smartphone, from my devices. So, and in addition to that, my car license plate number as well as my cell number was shared publicly on that platform. So I had people, strange men, I'm going to say it, strange men, trying to call me or send me messages, which I just blocked and deleted. But obviously the trauma based on that experience was horrific, because even when I tried to seek help to figure out if there were any kind of steps that I could have taken to seek consequences for the perpetrator to face those consequences, I hit a brick wall, and that was a very, very frustrating time for me, because I was not just going through that element, but I was going through the trauma of going through an abusive marriage. So it sort of added fuel to the fire, and I would not wish that on my worst enemy.
Yeah, I don't think we'd want to wish it on
Yeah.
anyone at all. You know?
Yeah.
And so this is what this period of activism is about. Heightening awareness and sensitivity to our actions and how we impact someone else, whether it's in the formal relationship or not. Because this abuse digitally happens in the workplace as well.
Oh, definitely.
It happens just broadly across society. And so we are called on this time around to really take a deeper look at what we do and the motivations we have for doing it. And realize, but for the grace of God go I. And sometimes we forget that.
Yeah.
And we only confront that when it happens to us, and we think, no, everybody else is unfair. And we need to stop that thinking, Barbara.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit more. I want to hear some more from you, Carolyn, as well, as to how you're managing to be as strong as you are today, because I think the good side of the story also needs to be told, and the work to be done by yourselves as well in this, the advocates against domestic abuse. So we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll turn to that and show how your part of your activism can bring beauty, as well as we look at this for the next 16 days. Stay with us. We're back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources, he'll give you the people. Not only will he equip you with ideas, but he will equip you with favor, as he did Nehemiah.
Turn on the latest episode of Infinite Possibilities, only on CBC TV8, every Sunday at 1:30 p.m., sponsored by Covenant Life Teaching Center.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about solar ray, microbiome, probiotics, and why you should be taking them.
And we have well over 3,000 amazing products to help you get healthy.
For your health tips, tune in to CBC TV 8 every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for Nature's Discount, sponsored by Get Healthy Incorporated.
98.1 The One, your number one party station. With an audience from 18 to 40, we keep you engaged, energized, and entertained. Choose 98.1 FM, The One.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados. We all face struggles at times in our lives. You're not alone. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's okay to reach out for support. Lifeline Barbados is completely confidential. No one else will know you called. They're there to offer a caring ear and guidance without judgment. And fellas, I want you to know asking for help is a true sign of strength. It takes real courage to reach out. You can also call Lifeline Barbados if you're worried about loved ones who are struggling and you need advice on how.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
29 to 8 o'clock now as we are on day 2 of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And we're happy to be joined this morning by the Advocates Against Domestic Abuse. Their chairperson is Barbara Daniel Goddard, and their vice chair is Caroline Davis, who's just shared with us, Caroline Jarvis, who just shared with us a very interesting story. When I took the break, I want to hear the beautiful side of it now, how we manage it and what else can we do to be able to rebuild our spaces and our confidence as well. And I can't imagine, Caroline, what you had to do to rebuild.
I would say I reclaimed my life back. I took my power back. And it has been a journey. It certainly is an overnight thing where, you know, I'm going through this and then next week I'm got a spring in my step. It has been a process, but I guess because I maybe have a natural vigor and resilience, I have reflected and I've just bounced back, and a part of that process is being able to share my story. And it's not easy. It's very difficult, even generally, for victims and survivors to be able to come out and share their experiences. For me, it was very, very difficult. It was an uphill battle because of the embarrassment, because of the shame. But as I've spoken about it, it's become part of my therapy. And I've transformed. My life has become so much better, easier. And it's almost like, why didn't I do this years ago? Yes. It's been 10 years now. And I want to use my strength to help others find their strength. Have the courage to seek help, to seek support, to reach out to us on our helpline or go to our social media platforms, our website, and seek information and not feel that they're alone. They're not alone. They're not to blame. There's help out there. So I feel that I am part of maybe a cog in the wheel, or putting those wheels in motion. Yes. To seek that opportunity, that channel to say, well, look, I can do this. I know everybody's story is going to be different, but at least maybe take those first steps to recovery, or to at least try to get out of the situation that they're in, because it's not just about the survival aspect, it's also enduring, that situation and finding that path to change the situation for the better.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Sometimes, Barbara, people who find themselves as victims feel that the system, and I use that word very broadly, is also working against them. Let's talk a little bit about what that means and what your organization is doing so that you attend to that matter.
Yes, I think people at times do feel that, because sometimes you might go to the police and you feel when you get there that they're victimizing you again. And, you know, all police, of course, are not going to be the same. But when you get there and you meet someone who is not helpful, and I think it's only last week, I think someone said to me, a police told her, oh, you need to choose better men. And, you know, it's that type of negative responses that makes a person leave the police station, go and continue in that relationship, because, you know, you might not have a place to go, and you go there in a form of seeking refuge, and then when someone is saying something to you that is so negative and reinforce basically the abuser's behavior, you think, well, why should I bother? You know, you already lost momentum. And at times, if then you have the whole thing of social care. If you're not working and then you want to leave your facilities, then you get to welfare, you have children. Depends who you're going to meet at welfare. Some people are helpful, some people are not. Some people are quite dismissive. I'm sometimes horrified by the stories that I hear from the women when they are dealing with welfare. And, you know, that statement that you made there, for the grace of God go I. And sometimes I think that the people who are dealing with the public should ask themselves a real pertinent question at times, you know. I'm thankful that it's not me. And that aspects of empathy is sometimes missing. And at the same time, as someone who's constantly involved with the whole issue of people's emotional well-being, my pitch on that sometimes be like the people that you're dealing with in welfare, etc., social care, are themselves sometimes being victims themselves, or can be abusers. So sometimes we are going up against the same thing. So I'm suffering, you're suffering, and you are throwing it at me, I'm throwing it at you, etc. Doesn't excuse things. But sometimes if you take that little step back, you can actually breathe and then approach it again. As we as someone who have to at times ring welfare and speak to an officer on behalf of the client, because some people are not very confident of expressing themselves, of saying clearly what it is their needs are. And when you are that type of person, it is going to be more challenging for you then to come out of what you're experiencing, because your confidence is diminished and you are feeling hopeless. So it takes a long time. I mean, Caroline mentioned 10 years. Some people it's 15 years, some people it's 20 years. It's a long time. Every person is going to approach it differently and experience it differently.
I know there's a campaign you're embarked on now, I Stand With You.
Yes.
Talk to me about that, how that campaign is working, or it will work, and why that theme, I Stand With You.
Yes. I think one of the important things is I Stand With You is that domestic abuse is not given the recognition that it should be. And a lot of people react to it when something really seriously hits the headlines. And people don't engage with it in the way they ought to. Is my personal life is quiet, is silent. I'm suffering in silence. So basically, the I Stand With You is to say to the public, stand up and be counted. Say, I'm standing with you. I'm recognizing that this is happening. So stand with you. And we're asking people to, anywhere, everywhere, make a short video and say, I stand with you. An individual, a group, a company, and just say that into us.
How?
Yes,
how?
Indeed.
And to where?
Into our website, which is aada.bb.
AADA. AADA. Apple, apple, dog, apple. .bb.
Yes.
Yes.
You got that?
Yes,
Phonetics.
and if you're having any difficulty finding it, you can just put Advocates Against Domestic Abuse into the Google search engine and
do
will
your
generate.
short videos. I stand with you, and why you stand with you, and what are some of the outcomes you hope by your stand, taking that stance, you want to see, the change you want to see. People are walking around hurt and abused and feel undervalued and less than. And so we want to stand today with them to change, to help them change, to let them know you're not sticking out with the sore thumb, because we're with you. It's a community of people who are standing in support of you, who understand the pain that you're experiencing, and who want to be the shoulder on which you can lean. So we stand with you.
Goes back to my point.
Can I use that
You
as my
are
video?
not alone.
Correct.
Yes.
I'll use that as my video.
Yes.
With your orange tie.
With my orange tie. So
yes, indeed.
I've been whipped again today.
Yes,
I have to
indeed.
wear my orange today. But I want to thank you,
indeed,
both of you. I know that you're doing phenomenal work. There's a hotline. The number very quickly.
432-2873. 432-2873.
Call if you need counsel. Call if you need someone to listen. Call if you need someone to hold your hand. They stand with you because they care. And so we want to thank Barbara Daniel Goddard, who is the chairperson of Advocates Against Domestic Abuse, and her vice chair in Caroline Jarvis, for being open and honest and helpful and kind and meaningful and all of those things. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you very
You're
much.
very welcome. You're very welcome. We're taking a break, folks. We're back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the viewer with extraordinary images and stories and takes him into fascinating worlds which he experiences here exclusively and up close. We're there when companies and specialists develop super satellites for a global network in space and can look behind the scenes. Scold is a window to everything that is there or is yet to come. Fly with us through time to better understand today and tomorrow. You've always wanted that. Scold, a look into the future.
Our world today is not the world God wants it to be. One of the reasons which will surprise many is that our planet, its governments, and its peoples are all living under the weight of Satan's rule. From the beginning of mankind's existence to today, human history is the written record of what it means to live under the rule of the devil. Yet that rule is coming to an end, and what a difference that will make.
Every Sunday at 9 a.m. on CBC TV 8, tune in for Tomorrow's World, sponsored by the Living Church of God.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM.
Good morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
15 minutes now to go to the hour of 8 o'clock as we turn our attention to the game of and the sport of football and the Lady Tridents. Yes, indeed, they are back with their winning selves and they're getting ready once again to continue that trajectory of winning. I'm happy to be joined by the coach, the captain, and the manager of the Lady Tridents. And next to me is Kerry Trotman, who's the head coach. And this woman could play football. It's amazing what she can do with the ball indeed. But she's been coaching a winning unit. And with them is the captain, who's just back from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, having beaten St. Vincent and the Grenadines as well as part of the Lady Tridents. Good morning to each of you. And you, Tricia Ford.
Yes, please. Good morning.
She's the manager. Good. Kerry.
Hi.
Talk to me a little bit about what you're pulling out of these ladies to have the winning ways that they have been on.
I try to lead by example. I like discipline, commitment, hard work. So I try to instill the same qualities for myself in them by doing, do as you do as I see, that kind of mentality. So that's what I try to do. The ladies have been embracing it. As always, things are new and there's challenges in making changes, but they've been committed to doing it and I'm very happy. And so far, we've had some success.
And in other words, they're listening to you. They're listening to you. Because sometimes you hear the coaches, you're here playing. They hear you. But they've been listening to you and so they've been on their winning way. So the game in St. Vincent is now over.
Yes.
I know we have another game coming up on Monday.
Yes, World
And
Cup
this game is against
qualifiers. Is the World Cup qualifiers. We are taking on Trinidad and Tobago. Just a little short thing is that we haven't played Trinidad and Tobago at senior level approximately 10 years. That time I was actually on the pitch along with the captain. So it's a little bittersweet for us in terms of getting to play them after a long time, and we know Trinidad has had some success, so they're a little ahead of us, but it gives us an opportunity to see where we're at and challenge them in the right ways.
We have some success too.
Yes.
And I don't care how far ahead of you we are ready for it indeed. And so, Shanice, as captain of the winning Lady Tridents, talk to me about the game and the camaraderie and the team and how ready y'all are for this match on Monday.
Well, we've been preparing since July. When we went into WIFA, that was our stepping stone into going into World Cup qualifiers. So we kind of gauged the team then to see where we're at, because it's a fairly new team. We have a lot of younger players who are now calling up to the senior team with a mixture of some of the senior players. So that was kind of a gauge for us to see where we're at as a team and how we can build on it. We did fairly well in that competition, playing against some of our comrades in the Caribbean, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, and Dominica, and we've come out successful in that tournament. So we used that as a stepping stone now to go into the World Cup qualifiers. Our first match being Trinidad, which is, as Coach said, is going to be a challenge for us, seeing as Trinidad they're ahead of us, being a more competitive team, playing more matches and stuff like that. So we're going to use that, going into the game not fearful, but as competitive as we can be, to give them a run for their money.
Who are you playing with on your team?
Well, like I said, it's a mixture of some younger players and some players who've been there before. So we have players like Ashley Thompson, who plays in midfield with me, Rihanna Cyrus, you would have had her on your show already, and Acacia Small, and some of the younger ones which the Barbadian public might not know of as yet, but they're coming up, and persons like Taryn Sutherland and Gabrielle Union, the younger players, Daphne Watson-James. So you will hear about them on Monday.
We have some budding stars. We have some excellent players out there as a part of the Lady Tridents who we know have longevity and can play the game.
Yes,
and so getting one's head in the workspace now to get on that field, see the opponent, see the goal bars, charge forward and score.
Yes.
What's the process like in whipping the team together so that we achieve the mission at hand?
Well, we've been working on getting our fitness up and some technical areas of the game. Right now, leading up into the game about 5-6 days away, we're working on the tactical aspects of the game, you know, getting our defensive shape, our attacking shape together. Also, we're not so focused on the results as per se, but we set some goals for the team, individual and team goals, which I think once we are able to accomplish them, we can compete with Trinidad.
Kerry, you're here nodding all the while because she's saying the right things?
She is the in-between, so it is very good to see that, you know, that what we are saying, that she can translate for us without we having to. So we know that the leadership coming through as well, in good hands.
Madam, now this lady, Miss Ford, right, has just found, let me make sure I get the title right, found her way as being appointed to FIFA Youth Girls Competitions Committee. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
Are you the first Barbadian woman to do so?
Yes, please.
See, you are first. You know you're etched in history. What does that appointment, first of all, mean to you?
Well, definitely elated by it, knowing that I'll be able to contribute to policy and initiatives on a global scale. So I'm definitely excited and looking to represent Barbados to the max.
We are so proud of you, honestly, to have found yourself on that. And so what would your role be sitting on that committee?
Well, I'll just be an executive member on that committee, but currently I am on the BFA executive as well. So, you know, it will help me too as it relates to being able to make sure that we meet the standards, we bring our competition up to the standards and help with the development of football in Barbados for the females.
Are you excited about that, though, the women football in Barbados?
Yes, very, very excited.
Talk to me, man.
Well, we set up our Women's Committee this year in January, and since then we've been lobbying to get the girls back out on the field, which you're seeing now, the results of that. We've got our competition started. We're looking at even evolving the competition to the next level, you know, where we look at a developmental phase of the game, because we realize that, you know, we have a lot of young girls who are very, very excited. So we even now want to go to like the age 8, you know, so that by the time we get to under 14, that we will already have a cadre of girls there that we can work with. We're not looking for them, but we've been working with them over a period of time. And as you know, we would have also had our under 14 girls who would have competed this year. I think they did relatively well for, you know, the time space that they were working with. And so for now, we'll be looking at our under 17. So this is the development pathway, as you can see, for our competition leading into senior women level of the game.
I really hope more women, more girls really show up and come out, right, Carrie? To be a part of it, to be a part of the game and the sport. There's this big game coming up on Monday.
Yes.
You should talk to me about that.
Okay, so Barbados is playing our CONCACAF qualifiers game on Monday. It is going to be at Kensington Oval. The game time is 4 p.m. You would want to be in quite early so that you can avoid the rush, right? Yes, it's also on the day of the Prime Minister's Cup finals. So definitely the whole of Barbados will be at Kensington Oval on Monday. So we want to encourage you to come out early, support the Lady Tridents, because, you know, right now it is a great opportunity. We are celebrating our national pride, and so we're not only celebrating the national pride as it relates to, you know, independence, but we're looking at the element of sport and celebrating our people. Yes, we're celebrating the guys a little later in the day, but definitely first and out the blocks will be the ladies that we want to celebrate equally as it relates to football.
I love your energy, your confidence. And so we have a double header on Monday. We'll start with a game between Lady Tridents Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago, starting at 4 in the afternoon. Get there early and settle. When that's all done, after we have won, then we get ready for the finals of the Prime Minister's Cup. And so football fans, whether you're female or male, families come out to the Kensington Oval on Monday for this big qualifier. And so we want our ladies to win. So the more you are there to keep noisy, to give full support, that is what means a lot. So when you're on the field and you're kicking ball and doing everything else, Shanice, talk to me, does that matter to you? Do you feel the energy?
Yeah, we feel the energy for sure. So we like the 12th man, we call them the crowd. So it's a big advantage for us, you know, feeling the support from Barbados, and, you know, that helps us to get going. Even if we're tired now, we keep putting the extra
keep
shift.
going.
Yeah, keep going.
Because you don't want to disappoint.
No, we don't.
And so we don't want to disappoint them either. Let's show up in great number. Entry free?
Yes.
Oh, we love that word. So entry is free, but show up early o'clock and hold your spot. Hold your spot. Trinidad is not playing, right, Kerry?
Correct.
Trinidad, as you said, is a little bit ahead of us. They've had a few more games, but nevertheless, they can't beat us on our home turf. This is Callaloo versus Cuckoo. In playing it in Barbados, so we definitely have a team that we know is a winning component because they're just back from playing that tournament in Trinidad and St. Vincent, beating 3 other CARICOM nations, and now they've come here to beat another in Trinidad and Tobago at Kensington Oval beginning at 4 on Monday, but get there early. Hold your seat because the men are going to show up for the other game. They want to be there early too, so come earlier and hold your spot at Kensington Oval and see the game. Give the Lady Tridents our fullest support. They are on their winning trajectory. I know Shanice is cold, so I'm trying to, she's shivering like crazy, but that's all right. So what we do, we'll take a break right here, don't go, and we'll come right back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources, He'll give you the people. Not only will He equip you with ideas, but He will equip you with favor, as He did Nehemiah.
Turn on the latest episode of Infinite Possibilities, only on CBC TV8, every Sunday at 1:30 p.m. Sponsored.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So don't forget the Lady Tridents are looking for you on Monday to show up in great number at Kensington Oval. I know, Tricia, this is just a part of all that you have planned for the ladies to do.
Yes. Yes, this is just the first game in our qualifiers. We will be playing El Salvador on March 1st, and then we'll be playing Honduras on April 17th. So we have some really big picks. So that is why we need everyone to come out, give us that support, give us that extra boost, and so when we take on Trinidad, that we can become victorious, and knowing that we'll be continuing on that trajectory that you spoke about earlier as we go into those other games.
We love winners and we love winning ways. And so you're leading by example in what you do. Kerry, you've pulled together a team, you're coaching them well. I can hear from Shanice what you put into her and the team, and they're confident with your leadership and guidance that they can do this, and we're Barbados are confident the same way as well. Shanice, your girl team, your Lady Tridents, y'all are phenomenal. Thank you for making us as a nation so very, very proud indeed. I know this is independence, but it's not independence alone. Thank you for representing Barbados so well, defeating the others in that recent tournament, getting ready to defeat Trinidad and Tobago. Then we're going on to beat El Salvador and all the other teams coming up as well. And we'll keep watching to make sure this happens, all right? But know that Barbados is giving you our fullest support indeed. And Tricia, congratulations once again on your appointment and managing this team. Though you're interim, you're confident. I feel your energy and your passion for this team, and it gives them the confidence that they need. But I love the plan for the development of women football in Barbados as well. This is brilliant. You're doing really, really good work. Continue to represent us well as well. And so all the best to each of you.
Thank you.
All right, and this old boy feels so happy this morning indeed. That's it for today, everybody. We want to thank you so much for keeping us company. My little crew joins me in saying to all of you, have a lovely today. Be it the will of the Lord. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Wake up.